Hi folks and welcome. As you may have noted from the title of the channel, my model railway layout is called Perth South and it's based on Perth Station in Scotland. Construction is progressing well, but before posting some video of the current status of the layout, I thought I'd explain why Perth and take you on a short visit to Perth Station and its surroundings as it is today and compare it with as it was in the 1960s, the period I'm attempting to model, and we'll look at some of the scenes I hope to recreate in model form. I hope to follow this in future videos with details of the layout plan and my approach to construction, operation and control. Well, why Perth? Perth has an interesting history. It was a main station on the Caledonian route from Glasgow in the south to Aberdeen, but there was a confluence of routes here, making it a key crossroads in the Scottish rail network. In pre-grouping times, in addition to the Caledonian, the North British and the Highland also had a presence, and post-grouping this became the LMS and the LNER. In BR days, Perth was a place where you could see ex-LNER and LMS Pacifics side by side, and of course it was the final route on which the A4 Pacifics saw out their days on the 3-hour Glasgow to Aberdeen expresses. Even up until 1966, you could see A4 and A2 Pacifics alongside the remainder of Perth's once large collection of LMS Black 5s. This is the view looking north from St Leonard's Bridge at the south end of the station, and was a favourite spot for photographers in the days of steam. The lines north here through the main part of the station go to Inverness and originally to Aberdeen, but after closure of the Strathmore route in 1967, Aberdeen trains have taken the curve round to the right here towards Dundee using platforms 1 and 2. The station overall roof was cut back in 1968. The two main through platforms, number 4 and 7, were once amongst the longest in the UK and could berth 2 trains end to end using scissors crossovers halfway along the platforms with access onto adjacent loops to allow trains to overtake one another. To the left of the central station buildings are 2 terminal platforms 5 and 6 and the main down platform 7. Again to the left, where the carriage washer now sits, were a down loop and carriage sidings, the latter of which I'll include in the model. There were more sidings and the slow avoiding lines that used to go round the west side of the station wall, but these won't be included in the model due to space constraints. But I'd hope to recreate almost all of what you see here today. The station's too long to get it all in the model, so there will be a scenic break halfway along the station, just long enough to get the terminal platforms 5 and 6 included. Looking south, we see the 1962 Perth power box still in use, although it has had much work carried out, including a new roof a few years ago. Interestingly, although there has been some rationalisation of track and facilities, the basic track layout of the junction and most of the signals and signalling equipment and point mechanisms are as they were when installed in 1962, and there's every likelihood that the signal box and associated track layout and signals will reach their 60th birthday in 2022. Low line speed has helped, and there's been a lot of component and rail replacement, but the basic junction design is still the BR 110 pound flat bottom junction from 1962. Again, I would hope to have most of this immediate view included in my layout. The area to the right of the box where the Network Rail car park and offices are situated was the area occupied by the North British and LNER engine shed. Immediately in front of the box were the freight slow lines, designed to allow freight to pass round the west side of the station. These were removed in the early 1980s. I can't fit the full extent of these into the layout, but will include a single down slow line over part of this area. To the left of the main lines are the Dundee loops, which give an alternative access to the Dundee platforms when the main junction's occupied. And to the left of those are what was originally carriage sidings, and although still connected and signalled, haven't been used for about 25 years. Further to the left in the trees is the area where once was the Perth Wagon Repair Works. On my layout I'm using some modeller's licence, and I'm going to have a goods depot there. There were several goods depots and yards around the Perth area. A view from the 1960s from the same location, and you can see carriages and wagons in the wagon workshops in the background. We are now at the next bridge down, which is the Edinburgh Road bridge, and we're looking back north towards the station in the distance. And on the right you can see the Dundee loops and their connections onto the main line. In the right foreground there's a connection, a siding through into a yard which is completely overgrown now. And this is a view from the same position in the 1960s, showing an A4 hauled express coming off the Dundee loops onto the main line, and the extensive wagon repair works in the background. Looking south from the bridge now, and on the right, beyond the trees, is a large Tesco store, which occupies the area of Perth Friarton MPD. In pre-grouping days there were 3 local depots in Perth, but by the 1960s everything was concentrated in this, the former LMS and Caledonian depot, which was numbered 63A under the BR system. In the Tesco car park now, and in the centre foreground was the turntable, and over to the right was the huge LMS coaling plant and ash removal plants. Perth South was a large local depot. Originally built by the Caledonian Railway, it was rebuilt and extended with modern facilities in the late 1930s, allowing the closure of the old Highland Railway shed at Perth North. At nationalisation in 1948, there were over 130 locos based here, including over 60 Black Fives, or hikers as the Perth men used to call them. Perth's own allocation was never what you might call very glamorous, but the visiting large engines that called in for servicing or repair from Glasgow, Edinburgh, Carlisle or Aberdeen added extra interest. In this picture, notice the depot office building with the offset chimney and clock situated between the heavy repair shed on the right and the running shed on the left. This is the same building today, and it's all that's left of 63A. On the left, where the post office depot is now, was the main 8-track running shed, and to the right, the heavy repair building. Needless to say, I won't have room for all the old depot infrastructure in my layout, but I hope to at least have something that resembles parts of Perth Depot. We're now south of the depot and looking south into Moncrieff Tunnel, and this tunnel portal will form one of the scenic breaks at the south end of my layout. In the next video I'll explain development of the plan for the layout and approach to layout construction. Hope to see you then, and thanks for watching.